I spent 12 hours drawing Fakemon, and I nearly went insane. Hey everyone, Ifagor here, back after my yearly 3 to 5 month upload schedule day. I will admit, it does feel good to be back. This time last year, I took a break from YouTube over the holidays so I could rest and improve my video editing, and although I won't be having as large of a break this time around, I'll still be taking some time off around Christmas and New Year's, so for about a few weeks. Then, once again, I'll improve my editing style for 2024. Now, let's get into today's video. This is my idea. When I was on a break, I would sit in my room for 12 hours straight and only draw Fakemon. This idea was beneficial as it helped me clear out some standalone concepts that I had for a while also adding another layer of entertainment for those that like to watch me suffer. Heading into this challenge, I did have some ground rules though. Firstly, I could only leave my room if I really needed to eat or go to the toilet. Secondly, I wasn't allowed to finish the challenge until the 12 hours had fully elapsed, unless there was obviously some serious emergency, which thankfully there wasn't. And finally, I had to make Fakemon that was specifically for my Australian region, because I really want to focus on that and I want to get done. Now, with that being said, let's go! The first hour of this challenge began with me hastily opening a fresh canvas to draw one of my favourite concepts that I had for the next 12 hours. A regional evolution for Cacturn, which we called Cructus. So basically the idea is to make an evolution of this that is grass and dark type and is based on kind of like an outlaw, okay? So if you're Australian, you've probably heard of Ned Kelly. He was an outlaw in I think either early 1900s or late 1800s, I'm pretty sure. So I think first of all, what we want to give it is like one of those, I guess, poncho kind of things. I don't even know if they're ponchos or not. And then it'll have a head here, and then obviously I think it'd be really cool if it had like some smoke coming out of here, like that. After coming up with an amazing draft and beginning to outline Cructus, I had some company.
What's up, I forgot fan base? How's it going? It's your boy, good for you in the chat.
Okay, I'll include that. I'll keep that in the video. It's gonna be like insanely cringe, but like, alright.
Are you recording the entire 12 hours?
Yeah.
I would not do that if I were you.
Shit. By the way, editing Ifagor here. Do not record the entirety of a 12-hour challenge. Trust me, it's not a good idea, especially when you edit on an average laptop like me. A lot of the recordings for this video were corrupted or didn't export properly, but luckily I do have voiceovers and speed paints to save me. Some people don't, so please, if you're trying something like this, don't record the whole thing. Don't make the same mistake that I did. Anyways, editing Ifagor out. Following Goodfew's departure, nothing much interesting happened during Hour 2. I continued to work on Cructus's outline and began colouring it in. Hour 3 was quite unique from the other hours in this challenge though, with me working on 3 different Fakemon in the hour alone. I started shading and highlighting Cructus, and my first Fakemon of the challenge was complete. Cructus, the outlaw Pokemon. A dark and ghost type. Cructus are known to be dangerous desert-dwelling Pokemon. They often work in small groups to ransack and raid small villages or towns. Cructus conduct most of their criminal activity under the cover of darkness, for shade and stealth purposes. I think Cructus turned out amazing, and it was definitely a major motivational boost for me. Following Cructus, I began working on its counterpart, another Fakemon that we'd planned for the challenge being a grass and fire evolution to Sunflora, which we called Sulferno. As much as I liked this concept, I couldn't really find a way to get it out of my head and onto paper or canvas in this case, so I set Sulferno aside for later. The third Fakemon of this hour was an evolution to one of my pre-existing Fakemon, my regional Applin. I recorded this challenge a few weeks after the Teal Mask dropped, and in it they revealed an evolution to Applin, Diplin. As soon as I saw this guy, I wanted to make a counterpart to it. And since it's a pretty miscellaneous Fakemon, considering that I've done all of the other Applin evolutions in a different video, I decided why not do it in this challenge. Alright, so I've lost pretty much a majority. Well, I haven't lost it, I just lost the footage of me drawing, sketching, outlining, and whatnot. The Diplin counterpart. I haven't necessarily lost it, it's more of the footage has become like 2 FPS. So, just to fill you in on what you missed, I sketched my idea of the shape of the Dipling counterpart, outlined it, and just finished colouring when I realised that the footage had screwed itself over. Now that we're all up to track, nothing else very interesting happens during the rest of Hour 3. I completed a chunk of the Dipling counterpart and headed into Hour 4. Hour 4 mainly involved me completing the new Applin evolution, which I decided to name Splitlin, the chocolate-covered Pokemon, a grass and fairy type. Upon being exposed to the Fudge Banana, Applin evolved into Splitlin. Although it's painless for Splitlin, taking too much of the fudge that it's covered in will weaken it to the point of devolution. This Pokemon bears striking resemblance to Dipplin, but is completely unrelated to it. By the way, editing I forgot here, there's also now an evolution to Dipplin in the Indigo Disc. I won't say it or spoil it if you guys haven't played it yet, so I might give Splitlin an evolution at some point. Once Splitlin was complete, I decided to tackle 2 concepts that are very important to the region I'm making, in that they'll help me define the new gimmick of the region, which I've decided to dub Slumber Forms. For now, I think you could just call them Megas with extra steps, but anyways. The first Slumber Form that I would create was a Slumber Form of Minior. Minior is a great Pokemon that doesn't get much recognition or love from Game Freak. I thought since Australia's got a lot of associations with stars, space, and exploration of space, that Minior could fit in well as a Slumber Form. I went with a shooting star design, deciding on a white core with a rainbow trail, and some smaller stars surrounding the shooting star. About 15 minutes into my third Fakemon, it ticked over into Hour 5. Hour 5 was another uninteresting hour. A lot of it involved outlining and colouring Slumber Minior. I will admit though, outlining the trail of like a rainbow colour and then adding this white gap was something that I'd never done before, and it was actually kind of fun. Continuing into Hour 6, I continued to colour Slumber Minior. Towards the end, however, I finally finished Slumber Minior, and here it is. Huh, that's odd. Why didn't it show the entry? Oh well, anyways. I'd survived halfway through the challenge, and I was pretty pleased with myself. Once completing Slumber Minior, I moved on to a second Slumber Form that I had planned for the challenge, a Slumber Form of Aviamew, one of the evolutions of the grass starter in my region. I had this idea to swap the grass type for Ghost and change the colour of its leaves to a reddish-orange colour similar to autumn leaves. At the start of Hour 7, I whipped up a draft that I'd improved from a sketch from the concept, and spent the rest of the hour outlining. In hindsight, I don't think this should have taken that long to outline, especially since I had a proper idea with how I wanted Aviamew to look, but maybe exhaustion was catching up to me. I was nearing the end of outlining Slumber Aviamew when I had finally completed Hour 7 of the challenge. I headed into Hour 8 finishing Slumber Aviamew's outline, as well as adding a few maple leaves falling around it. I chose to add a hint of rainbow to Aviamew on its wings and coloured in most of the Fakemon. Hour 9 saw me colouring Aviamew further and then shading and highlighting. So, here it is. Okay, what the hell? Why won't it let me play these entries? Ugh, whatever. How about I make another video showcasing the Slumber gimmick? Maybe then the entries will work. Anyways, since I was halfway through Hour 9 and couldn't finish the challenge early, it was time to face Sulferno. My main issue previously was that I could never think of a way to position the flames without it looking flat, until I tried here. Instead, I decided to utilize Procreate's warp function to position the flames so that they were moving backwards behind Sulferno. By the time it had reached the 3/4 mark, I had already come up with a great rendition of the flames. Hour 10 was spent completing Sulferno. I textured the flames, coloured everything else, shaded, highlighted, and here it is. Sulferno, the Sun Pokemon, a grass and fire type. The never-ending blaze that engulfs Sulferno's head is incredibly hot and has been known to melt most materials with ease. This has led to farmers preventing their Sunflora from evolving to stop accidental wildfires from occurring. With the completion of all the Fakemon that I had planned and 2 hours to spare, I had to make another Fakemon. So I turned to RNG for help. Google chose from a list of types and a list of Australian animals to make a poison-type blue-tongue lizard, which surprisingly worked well as a concept. Unfortunately, exhaustion had pretty much consumed me, as well as the fact that I hadn't seen daylight at all that day. Still, I pushed through and created what I considered to be a mediocre design, especially since it resembles a Fakemon that I had already created called Nagona, which is also based on a lizard. The final hour of the challenge was upon me. The past 11 saw me make 5 amazing Fakemon and draft another one. I couldn't give up when I was this close despite the exhaustion that built up. I took a quick dinner break and came back to color the final Fakemon of the challenge. I had time left, so I tried to improve it by adding bubbles around, which I found amplified the design. Finally, I shaded, highlighted, and as the clock ticked over to 10 PM, I had finally completed the 6th Fakemon and completed the 12-hour challenge. We have completed the 10-hour challenge. It's 10:02 right now. I'm emotionally drained, but honestly, we made 6 amazing Fakemon that I love all of them. I think I did a great job for 12 hours, especially after all my energy just goes down after a while. I'm probably gonna go to bed. Despite me sounding very tired, I was actually really ecstatic that I'd pushed through 12 hours of Fakemon drawing with as little breaks as possible. Before I do an outro though, I should probably introduce you to Tealiqua, the Color Tongue Pokemon, a poison type. The color of Tealiqua's tongue is determined by the type of poison they excrete. Theoretically, this means that Tealiqua could have different colored tongues. I'm not the biggest fan of Tealiqua, but I think it might grow on me. A huge thanks to Good For You for joining me and chatting with me in the first few hours, and also for making these amazing shinies. Good For You, you really helped out a lot, thank you so much. Another thanks to everyone that has patiently waited for another I Forgot video. I know I've been kind of lacking on these uploads, especially since I've had exams on and other stuff, but thank you for sticking with me. And finally, thank you for watching this video. This video has been a long time in the making, and I think it turned out great. What do you guys think? If you like this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Feel free to leave any suggestions you may have in the comments, and I'll see you all in 2024. Later. If you guys want me to do a 24-hour challenge, then please like and subscribe and make sure this video gets a ton of views, because if it does, then I'll consider doing, I will do a 24-hour challenge.